Author is funded by the Pacific Northwest Writers Association, supporting writers from pen to publication since 1955. To learn more about the PNWA and their yearly conference, please go to pnwa.org. Hi, this is Bill Kenower of Author Magazine, and I'm here at Elliott Bay Book Company in Seattle, Washington with Beverly Donofrio, author of Astonished. Beverly, welcome to Author.
Thank you. It's great to be here. My work is going to be prayer. I'm going to pray with my sisters. We're going to lift the planet. And went back to Mexico where I was living, hotly searching for monasteries to join. And one night I forced myself to stop at midnight, and an hour later I was awakened by a rapist with a knife. He was a serial rapist who had attacked 4 other women in town, and I knew the story of the serial rapist, and I knew that if I didn't fight, he wouldn't hurt me. It was kind of the best situation if you're going to be raped to kind of know what to expect.
Right.
What I thought when I realized I'm going to be raped now was, now God, followed by I'm never going to be the same. This will change me forever. Followed by I may lose God over this because I may not be able to forgive God, and I may not be able to process this. So after he raped me, he began saying, "I seen you on the street. You have a nice body. Are you Inglaterra? Are you married? Is your name Penelope?" And I thought, I'm not talking to him. And then I thought, I'm going to pray. And I started praying Hail Mary, and then thought, I'm going to pray out loud. And then I thought, I'm going to pray in Spanish and maybe tap into something from his childhood. And so I go, Dios te salve Maria, llena eres de gracia, and he pounds me on the shoulder with his fist and says, stop praying. You're praying, stop praying. Right. I said, I'm praying for you. And then I thought, oh, I should pray for him. Right. So now out loud I'm saying the Ave Maria, and inside I'm praying, please God, help him see the wrong he's doing, help him feel compassion. And then I think, wait a minute, I haven't prayed for myself yet. So the next Hail Mary, I'm Jesus, God, Mary, every angel, saint, dead relative, come and get this guy out of my house.
Right.
And he pats me on the shoulder and he says, it's okay, I'm going, and leaves. When it happened, I thought there was this time when I was in shock, when everything was shimmering and beautiful. Everything slowed down to a crawl. Right afterwards, for a couple of days, maybe 3 days. And I thought, you know, this may be, this is an opportunity. The greatest pathway to God is pain or love. And this may be my path. And I thought, I can just slaughter my ego. I wanted to pull it down like the statue of Saddam Hussein. Yeah. I want to be a different person. I want to tear off my mask, stop being false, be true. This is my opportunity to be what I've always wanted to be. And because the stakes were so high and everything was so charged. Yeah. And it continued to be really for quite a while.
One of the hardest things, I think, for human beings to accept is that, I can't remember who said it, but nothing is done to you, it's only done for you. Mm. You know, something as, you know, to not allow yourself to be just a victim.
Oh yeah.
If you were not Beverly, but a character in the novel of Beverly, that moment is your turning point.
Well, it's the same in the memoir of Beverly.
Right. But in terms of, as a character, we would say, now she becomes what she is.
Same thing in my life.
That's right. And so is it in service to you, or is it?
It was in service to me.
Yeah.
But it couldn't have been in service to me unless I embraced it.
That's right.
And looked for that. The trick is living life as gift. Yeah. Everything that comes your way is a gift if you look at it that way and you use it.
Yeah.
And look, I got this beautiful book. It was material. So, I got a 3rd memoir.
You write about a great scene where you're reading a version of it in Barnes & Noble, and you do not like how it goes, because you felt the material wasn't ready if I got the gist of what you... And so now this is ready. So how did you get it ready? What happened with you that you're able to get it ready?
Well, Writing and writing and processing and processing and writing and writing and processing and processing. That's how I process, is through writing.
Right.
And it was just a distance. And you know, this is really interesting. A priest came when I was at that monastery, and he does EMDR therapy for PTSD, these post-traumatic stress disorder.
That I know.
Which EMDR is rapid eye movement,
Okay.
and basically they don't know how it happens, but it moves from a trauma from the emotional side of your brain to the logical side of your brain. And so I said to him, is it possible that writing does the same thing? Because in order to write well, you have to access the emotion, but then in order to transcend it, to turn it into literature, you have to be logical about it. You omit things, you style it, you change the language, you fashion it. And he said, absolutely, and I think that I did have PTSD, and I think the writing, and I think they're using that now with vets, writing workshops.
Sure.
And it definitely worked for me.
Several times in the book you mentioned the most oft repeated phrase in the Bible, which is?
Do not be afraid.
Right.
Don't you love that?
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
And really, but in a way, that's what the book was about, was saying, what am I going to do with fear?
Right. It
'Cause
was a contemplation on fear.
Right. What do I do with that?
And I did have fear, and I had nightmares, and yeah.
Because it just happened. Mm-hmm. It seemed as though it just came out of nowhere.
Right. And I fell asleep and awoke to a rapist. So the trigger was falling asleep, the traumatic trigger.
It's a vulnerable state.
Yeah.
And so if someone came to you and said, I feel like I live my life in fear. I just feel like I can't, I'm always looking in the shadows. It's hard to do because they're not actually here, but what would you say to them?
I just had a conversation recently. The person didn't say that, but was talking about a fear that she had. And I said, and I got this from Thich Nhat Hanh, however you pronounce that, just call it up and love it. Just as though you're a mother of your fear.
Right.
Just give it love and compassion and acknowledge it. Because what you don't acknowledge grows stronger. Just raise it up. So lately what I've been doing, it's the best meditation. I say, my mother just died, my father's 90, I'm looking at this really intensely, I'm living with this, and I'm 62 years old. And I think, or this is a thing that I say to myself, it's in my nature to die. No one escapes dying. It's in my nature to suffer. No one escapes suffering. And when you bring it up and you say it in a loving way, it just kind of diffuses. It's just, well, right. Everybody has, everybody will, everybody does.
Yeah.
I'm no different, it's just natural.
I have one more question for you, and I'd like you to finish this sentence for me. If writing has taught me anything, it has taught me what?
Depth.
Depth. To look for the depth or your own depth, or to understanding of your own depth?
To allow the depth, to go slow enough to get there. And the writing, so often it's superficial when I begin, and I just, you just work at it and work at it, and you go deeper and deeper and deeper, and you get to deeper understandings and openings, and it's the most wonderful way to spend your life. Forget publishing. I mean, I'm very glad that I do, but it's the most rich experience to mine your experience and learn.